Kia ora and welcome to a Zotero introduction session. My name is Rosemary Patterson and I'm a subject librarian at Victoria University of Wellington. Today I will be talking you through why to use referencing software, how to set up and create a Zotero library on your computer, how to add references to that library and attach PDFs as well. At the end we'll look at using Zotero in Word and where you can go for help. Reference management software. For those of you who have not heard of it before, it's a place to organize and keep track of your references in one place. You have the ability to attach PDFs to that library. It is a great tool to be using on those large assignments, as you can insert your references automatically with a click of the button to the style that you choose. It is possible to set Zotero up on multiple computers, and you can also share references between other researchers. Overall, it's a great tool to be using and it will save you time and make your studies and research easier. Zotero is a free open source reference management software. There are a lot of reference management software out there and I believe it's one of the easiest to set up and use. It works with both Microsoft Word and Google Docs for adding your references, and it takes one click to download your references to your Zotero library using a browser extension. This works for Google Chrome, Firefox and Safari. You can use Zotero online and offline, and we have a handout available on our referencing and citing guide. To get to our referencing and citing guide from the library, you can just scroll down to Library Guides, select Library Guide and Referencing and Citing is at the top, and then click Go. And then under Software and Apps on our Referencing and Citing Guide we have a page for Zotero. This page has a lot of links out to instructions of setting up and using Zotero, and we also have a very handy Zotero handout which I'll be taking you through the steps today. For your first steps, I recommend registering with Zotero online. This is easy to do, and once you have your login details you can enter them into your Zotero library, and this will sync to Zotero online and allow you to use Zotero on multiple computers. It also works really well as a backup, so I highly recommend you register with Zotero. Secondly, you need to go to zotero.org/download and download the Zotero software to your computer. It works for both Windows and Mac. And then lastly, you want to install a connector, which is the browser extension to your computer. I'm on Chrome at the moment, but you can also use this for Safari and Firefox. Once you have installed the Chrome connector, if it's not showing at the top here, for Chrome, just click on the puzzle piece and make sure the Zotero connector is pinned to the top. And you can see it up here. It looks like a paper document. This will sometimes change. It might be a red Z, or depending on what type of resource you're on, it will change its form. Once you have downloaded Zotero onto your computer, open it up. When you first open up your library, it will be empty. My one is full of folders and articles. This is what the Zotero software looks like. So on the left you have all my folders, which I use to separate different research areas. These are called collections within Zotero, and to add a new collection you can just click the little folder icon with the plus new collection. To add material to a folder you can just click and drag it across. The folder My Library will always show every reference you ever have in your Zotero library, and then you can click into your subfolders to find the more subject-specific material. Once you're in the middle, it has all your references, and you can see here on my health material folder I have all my health references. If I click into a journal article, it will then bring up all my referencing details here on the right. So we have the item type, journal article, title of the article, the author, sometimes the abstract will come in, the journal, volume, issue, page numbers, date, and a DOI, along with other details as well. This panel is used when you're referencing in Word. It will be pulling the details from this panel to add that reference to your Word document. Also on this Zotero setup, we have a group libraries down here. So a group library is where you would share a folder with another researcher who's using Zotero. To do this, you also need to be registered with Zotero online, and there's more information about this on our referencing guide. At the very beginning, when you have downloaded Zotero to your computer, you just need to set up your preferences, and this is all in the handout from the guide. So if you just go up to Edit, Preferences, it will be on General. The first page is talking about downloads, so file handling. This one will automatically take snapshots when creating item from a web page. So this means it is automatically taking a screenshot of the article or resource that you're importing. This is not a particularly good feature, and it's using up some of your storage space to take this snapshot. I recommend unticking this box. The second one is automatically attaching the PDFs. So occasionally it will automatically import the PDF with your reference. If you are planning to store hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of references into your Zotero library, I would probably not store your PDFs because that would use up a lot of your storage space and you only have 300 megabytes. So if you are worried about your storage space, I would recommend unticking this box. For me, I don't have that many references at this stage, so I'm going to leave it ticked. Sync is where you would enter your login details for your Zotero account. So enter those and click Set Up Syncing. And now if I go to Zotero Online and click Login, I can click on Web Library and see that my Zotero library has synced to the Zotero Online, and it kind of works as a backup, and it will also allow me to use the same Zotero library on multiple computers if I want to download Zotero to my work computer and then my personal computer as well. I can also check how much storage I've been using with my Zotero library by clicking Upgrade Storage. And here we can see I've used 25%. So that's probably because I've attached quite a lot of PDFs to my library. PDFs can be found if you click the arrow next to the reference type. There's often a PDF below. If I was to choose to not add any PDFs to my Zotero library, then that would not use up any storage. It's just the PDFs that I've downloaded that are using up the storage in my library. And then finally, the last preferences to set up are if you go into Site, you can pick what is your reference style. So here I'm going to pick APA 7th edition. And I'm also going to set up Word on my computer. So Word processor, I'm going to install the Microsoft Word add-in. So just click that and that will install on your computer. And I'm also going to make sure to have this box, Use Classic Add Citation Dialog, clicked. And that will just make it a lot easier for using Zotero in Word, and click OK. And that's your preferences. Now that we've talked about creating a Zotero library, I'm going to be talking about adding references. To add a reference manually to your library, there's a little plus icon at the very top, New Item, so you click that and you select what type of reference you need. If it's not shown at the very beginning drop down, you can click on More. Please note websites are missing from this, so if you are using a website, you just need to click example reference, and then in book you can scroll down to web page and click web page. For the example today, I'm just going to do a book. I'm going to call it Zotero Referencing. So we have Zotero Referencing as the title of this book that I'm putting in, and then for author name you can see last name goes on the first box and then first name on the right. So last name and then first name. When entering the referencing details, you just need to enter the one that your style will use for referencing. So I know for a book I also need the publisher, so this I might say Victoria University of Wellington, the date 2021. If it was APA 6 I would also put the place, Wellington, New Zealand, but for APA 7th that is no longer needed. So that's all my details I have, and then click out of this, and if I search Zotero, my book Zotero referencing comes up with all my referencing details. Hopefully you won't need to use this feature too much because you'll be using the Zotero connector to add references. So the quicker way to add references is to use the Zotero connector in your browser. Here we go, just up here. So for example, if I was searching for an article on nursing and virtual reality, so here my search results in Te Waharoa brings up an article on virtual health education. This looks like it could be potentially relevant, so I'm going to click full text online to go directly to that article. And this is a great page. It's got all the publishing details of this journal article as the title, the authors, the journal and volume and date and page numbers. So to add it to my Zotero library, I just click the little Zotero connector up here and it is saved into my library. It's also bringing in the PDF as well, and if I want to change my folder I could specifically put it in the health material folder. And then going into my Zotero library, here we can see virtual health education scaling practice. I just want to scan this column to check that all the publishing details look correct. It's got journal article, title, authors, journal title, volume, page, and a DOI, so that's looking pretty good for me. And if I was to click on this little arrow to the left, it also shows that the PDF has been imported as well. And there we go. So you can see it is very easy to use. You're just clicking the little connector in the top right. Again, if I was doing this from Google Scholar, I could do a search for nursing and virtual reality. And here the fourth article down, augmented reality, virtual reality and gaming in relation to nursing. That looks great. Here I've gone directly to the article. It's bringing up all the publishing details and I can just click my connector. And that again has brought it in. It's also brought in the PDF. This doesn't occur for every article that comes in, but it is occurring for these ones. Once it's been brought in, I just want to check the details are correct, so I go back into Zotero and check augmented reality, virtual reality and gaming. It's looking pretty good, and again it's got the PDF attached to the left down here. If I wanted to bring in a book, I could go back to Te Waharoa. I could click on the title to bring up the book details, all the publishing details here, and notice the Zotero connector has changed from an article icon to a book. Click that and it brings it into my Zotero library. Here we go, virtual and augmented reality in education, art and museums, with the authors, the date and the publisher. So it's very easy to use. I've just shown you how to add references manually and with the connector. Now we're going to move on to attaching PDFs. So as you could see, sometimes when you import a journal article in, it might automatically attach the PDF. There's a few other ways you could import PDFs in if this didn't occur. One way is to manually attach the PDF if you already have it on your computer. So here I have a journal article that I've imported in, but it hasn't managed to attach the PDF. To attach it manually, all you need to do is right click on the PDF, click add attachment and attach stored copy of file. I can then go and find the PDF that I've already downloaded to my computer, click on that and attach it, and here it's brought up the PDF attachment. Please note that attaching PDFs to your Zotero library does use up storage, So if you already have the PDF on your computer, but you don't want to use up your storage, instead you could create a link to that PDF. To do that, it's the same process of right-clicking, add attachment, and then instead of attach copy of file, click attach link to file. Here I find the PDF stored on my computer, and we can see that the one underneath has a little link icon on it, so that's showing it's not within my Zotero library, it's still on my computer, but there's a link from my Zotero library to that PDF. And the last way to attach PDFs to your Zotero library is you could drag and drop the PDF into your library. For example, here I've downloaded a PDF, but it's not yet in my Zotero library, so I'm going to drag and drop it in. And here we see it's a PDF, and Zotero has actually been able to read that PDF, create a reference for it as a journal article, and filled in all the referencing details. It hasn't quite got the publication details correct, it's put them in capitals, but other than that it's been pretty good. This is possible with some of the more newer PDFs. Not all PDFs are created equal, so if you have an older PDF that's simply a scanned copy, Zotero won't be able to read it and add the reference this way. Just going to update this journal title. You can see you can just update the publication details by clicking in and manually updating. It's always good to do this as you go so that you don't have to worry about there being a mistake later in your Word document. So I've now talked about how to attach PDFs, if they come in automatically with a reference, if you can attach them manually, or create a link to that PDF on your computer, or additionally how to drag and drop them into your Zotero library. Finally, we'll be talking about how to use Zotero in Word. So hopefully by now you would have downloaded the Zotero add-on to your Word document. You can see it up the top here, Zotero. If it is not yet there, try closing down your Word document and reopening it again. Additionally, if it is missing still, go back to Zotero, click Edit, Preferences, Site, Word Processors, and install Microsoft Word add-in. And you will need to close down Word and reopen it again, and that should fix the problem. Now that we have the Zotero tab, it makes it very easy for adding references to your assignment. Here I have an example where I want to add a citation to my sentence because I'm using APA 7th. To add a citation to my sentence, I just click Add Edit Citation. It asks me first off what referencing style I'm using, so I'm using APA 7th. Click OK, and then it brings up my mini Zotero library where I can browse folders or I can search by keywords as well. So if I was just going to add this first reference, I select the reference and click OK. And here it's magically inserted this citation to APA 7th style. To add my reference list, I'm just going to make a place at the bottom of my document. And then go back to that Zotero tab and click Add Edit Bibliography. And that automatically inserts the reference details to APA 7th. And as I add more citations, it will continue to update my reference list. If I was, for example, quoting a paper in my assignment and I needed to add the page number, to do that it's very easy. So you just click Add Edit Citation. Find the paper you're wanting to use, and in the field that says page, you can put the page number in. There we go. If you were writing the sentence using the author's name, for example, Johnson was saying something, and then for the citation you wanted to exclude the author's name from the citation, that's also easy to do. Just click Add Edit Citation, find the paper, and then just click Suppress Author, so the author's last name will not appear in this citation, and here we just have the year. and you can see the reference list has been updated with more of these references. Additionally, it's possible to add more than one citation to the same sentence. So to do that, you can just click Add Edit Citation, find the first paper you're after, and then to add additional papers, click Multiple Sources. This is brought across the first paper that we were wanting to cite, and then you can just find another paper and use these arrows in between the panels to bring it across a second or third or fourth paper to cite. And when the paper is highlighted, you can add page numbers as well. And click OK. And here we can see it's beautifully added the two papers as citations next to each other, as well as adding them to our reference list. As you can see, it's really easy to use Zotero with Word. The main thing is just to make sure Zotero is open on your computer at the same time. One really important detail is if you notice there's an error in one of your references or citations, do not update it in Word. You can see if I click on the citations and the references that it is highlighted in grey. That is Zotero and Word talking to one another. If you were to go into one of these references and update it, that would break that connection and could impact future updates on your document. So if I was to scroll down, and I can see in this reference the journal is not quite looking right. It's called it Nursing Standard 2014, and I know that's incorrect. I'm not going to update it here in Word because I don't want to break the Word and Zotero connection. I'm going to go back into Zotero, find the article, and update it in Zotero. So here we have the publication details. I know it's not called 2014 plus in brackets, so I'm going to delete that to recall it the proper title. Click out of the field that I've updated, go back into Word, and click Refresh. Here you can see it's now refreshed it and it has the proper title. One final piece of advice is the unlinked citation button will remove the Zotero coding from your Word document. So if you do that, it will no longer have this highlighting appearing. It will just be a plain Word document, but once you've unlinked Zotero, you will not be able to re-add it. So I recommend not clicking the unlinked citation button. So today's session has covered why to use referencing software, how to create a Zotero library on your computer, how to add references in PDFs, and how to use Zotero and Word together. If you're after any more information on Zotero, I recommend going to the Zotero Referencing and Citing Guide. In addition, there's millions of other researchers around the world using Zotero, and they have a lot of videos online, a lot of support. So if there's something you're not quite sure, maybe go to Google, type in your question, and there's probably someone who's already answered that for you. Thanks for your time. I would encourage you all to use Zotero as your referencing software. Thank you.